Hello everyone. So today we are going to study about a very interesting topic, that is the sliding filament theory, which tells us about how our muscles actually contracts and relaxes. Now in this image you can see that a hand is going towards its shoulders and then coming back. So what actually it is? Now this is known as a flexion. What is a flexion? Flexion means when the hand is going towards the shoulders, and when the hand is going away from the shoulders, that is known as extension. Now, this particular muscle is bicep and these are triceps. So biceps and triceps works opposite to each other. That's why they are known as antagonistic muscles. Now, biceps. So when flexion is happening, the biceps are contracting and the triceps are relaxing. When extension is happening, that is when the hand is going away from the shoulders, the triceps are contracting and biceps are relaxing. So they are working opposite to each other. Likewise, we have many muscles in our body like quadriceps and hamstrings, and these set of muscles are known as antagonistic muscles. Okay, so we have to study that how these contraction actually takes place. The filaments which are involved here, that is the actin and myosin, their lengths do not decrease altogether, but how do they slide past each other? That is what the sliding filament theory is all about. As you can see here, these structures, so this red one which you can see over here is the structure of the muscle fiber when you see it under the microscope. Now here you can see there are some dark bands, some light, then again some dark bands. So what are they actually? So this we are going to see in this diagram, right? So first of all, let's see what are these Z lines. You can see these Z type of structures, right? So these are known as Z line. And what is a Z line? Z stands for a German word which means zwischen sheep. Zwischen sheep basically means in between. So in between, as in you can see here, these are dividing. These lines are sort of dividing these filaments. So therefore these are known as zwischen sheep or the Z band. So these are the Z disc. Now here these pink ones which you can see, these are the thin filaments which are known as actin filaments. Now actin filaments are known as the thin filaments. Here these yellow ones, these are known as the thick filaments, which is myosin filament. Now this myosin filament, we have to study that how these muscle contraction takes place. What happens to the different types of bands or different types of areas when muscle contraction takes place. Now these myosin heads, these have very tiny heads protruding from them. As you can see from here like this, these are the heads which are going to attach to the actin from both the sides like this, and then it is going to pull these two sarcomeres towards each other. How they are going to pull? Very simple. See, the head attaches like this, so this is the 90 degree, that is the perpendicular, right? So this position is known as a cocked position. Now since it has attached to this actin filament, as you can see over here, and then it undergoes a power stroke. So this is the new position of the actin, of the myosin head, sorry. Okay, now see, this actin, now this is the new position of the myosin head. So initially myosin head is going to attach in a 90 degree position like this, 90 degree, and then it is going to go 45 degree. That means what will happen? it is going to pull the actin towards the inside. Same way here, initially there will be a 90-degree position, that is the cocked position, and then it will pull it like this. This will be the new position, so that this part also comes inside. So this whole Z disc, number 1 Z disc, number 2, these two are going to come forward towards each other. Okay. Now, if you want to understand this even more better, you can visualize something. Now see, I'll just shift this. So just visualize. Now, have you ever been to a library? These days students don't usually go to the library, but you should often visit a library once in a while. Okay, now let's say this is a bookstall. Okay, this is another book stall, a book rack you can say, but there are wheels here. Here are the wheels, and in the center there is a person. Okay, and he has ropes. Now what he's going to do, this person, he's going to pull the book racks towards himself. Okay, now what will happen? Do you think these two, because they have wheels, these book racks have wheels, so it is going to come near the person. Okay, so it will come near. So what will be the new position? The new position will be like a little bit closer, right? The person is over here. Okay, now these racks can be pulled, but can they be pushed? Of course they can be pushed with the help of some external force, like if this person sort of applies pressure, but it cannot be pushed with the help of the actin. Same thing happens over here with our muscles, which is these muscles can be pulled but cannot be pushed. Okay, did you understand with this help of with the help of this analogy? Okay, like here we have seen that this person is trying to pull the bookshelves towards himself. Same way, like if we think this person is nothing but myosin, these tiny threads are actin. That means actin is sort of, myosin heads is attaching to the actin and then he's pulling towards itself. Okay, now very important part is, which is often asked in the exams, NEET examination, is what will happen to the various kind of bands when the muscle is actually contracting. So for that we need to understand some different terminologies over here. Now suppose this okay, now you can see the Z disc. What is the major function of the Z disc? The major function of the Z disc is to hold the actin filaments. Now these yellow things, which is the myosin, it is also not like floating in the center, so it also requires a support which is given by M line. So this is M line. Now what is a M line? M stands for Mittelschiebe. Now Schiebe here means disc. This is a German word. Mittel means middle, because obviously it is in the middle, so this is known as Mittelschiebe. Okay, so I'm just gonna draw some myosin heads over here. See, the proper concept and all, calcium and everything, that you'll study later on. This is just a basic sarcomere structure. Now let's come to one of the most important part of this diagram, which is the A and I band. Now in this diagram you can see that this full area, now which will be what? If you have to locate the same thing here, that means this is the A band. This is the A band. That means A band has some actin also, some myosin also, isn't it? It is having actin as well as myosin. It is having both the parts, actin as well as myosin. So this is the A band. What is I band? I band is this. So basically I band, now you will say I band is also having actin, your A band is also having actin, but I band is not having, I band is having which part? The non-overlapped part of actin. A band is having which part? The overlapped part of the actin. Understood what is the difference, right? So A band, this particular thing, A band is having your myosin, right, as well as overlapped portions of actin, and I band is having only these non-overlapping portions of actin. So do you understand what is the difference over here, right? Similarly, this side also will be having a I band. Okay, now let's come to this particular area over here. This one, why is this so like thin in nature? This is light zone, isn't it? So what is this zone here? If we have to see, that means the part of the myosin which is non-overlapped. So this is known as H zone. Okay, this is the H zone, and this full area from one Z disc to another Z disc, this is a sarcomere. Now what is the full form of H zone? H zone, H here represents heller, which means bright. Okay, so this, as you can see, bright, or maybe it is the clear zone, this is known as the H zone. I stands for isotropic, A stands for anisotropic. So isotropic and anisotropic. Okay, now the most important part which we have to see over here is what happens when the muscle actually contracts. Okay, that is the very important part. So when actually muscle contracts, then what will happen? Okay, so let's see what will happen when muscle contracts. So when muscle contracts, what will happen to the H zone? Tell me. These two sarcomere Z discs will come towards near each other. So this H zone is automatically going to get reduced. So number one, H zone reduces. And if there is maximal contraction, then sometimes this H zone can be gone also. There will be no H zone, right? Second, A band. What will happen to the A band? Now, do you think there will be any change in the A band? Think carefully. A band. No. The thin filament is moving over the thick filament, but the actual length is not getting compromised. The actual length is not getting reduced. So this full A zone will be exactly similar, right? So A band remains same, or you can say the length of the A band remains same. Okay, here we are talking about the lengths of these different zones, right? H zone, A band. What will happen to the length of the I band? Now you have to imagine that when this area is getting, this part, this sarcomere is getting towards each other, it is getting pulled. During the same time, this part is also getting pulled. Both of the parts are getting pulled at the same time. So the I band, that is the non-overlapping part of actin, will obviously reduce. So I band reduces, right? And what happens to the overall sarcomere structure? Sarcomere reduces. Okay, so from these 4 points are super duper important, because many times these 4 points, these are super important. Many times questions have been asked from this part, that during a muscle contraction, what will happen to H zone, what will happen to A band, what will happen to I band, and the sarcomere. So I hope this topic is clear to all of you. Okay, so now let's do a previous year question based upon this concept. Let's see if you're able to do this or not. So here you can see a question. Okay, so the question says, during muscular contraction, which of the following events will occur? During muscular contraction, which of the following events occur? Number one is H zone disappears, A band widens, third I band shortens, fourth width of A band is unaffected, fifth M line Z line come closer. Okay, now let's see over here what we have studied in our previous lecture is what cannot happen. Let's see what cannot happen. Let's see what we can eliminate from here. It says A band widens. Will there be any change in A band when the muscle contraction will happen? A band. No, the A band will remain that much only. Why? Because A band is actually the myosin's length, isn't it? So the myosin length is not going to change. So the A band length will be same. As you can see at the number second point, A band length remains the same. Okay. So they have written A band widens. Now this here is wrong. That means wherever second option will be there, it will be wrong. That means B. ये नहीं हो सकता. B is this is wrong. C इसमें भी second है, ये नहीं हो सकता. Second, this cannot happen. So these three are automatically eliminated, right? Let's see the other options. I band shortens. Of course, see here the third point, I band reduces. So I band shortens is correct. Width of A band is unaffected. Yes, A band remains same, so it is correct. H zone disappears. Now although I have written here H zone reduces, but I have mentioned that when there will be maximal contraction, because in maximal contraction these Z lines are going to be very much close to each other. So just imagine if they come very close to each other, so this H zone will be eliminated. ये गायब हो जाएगी ना H zone. So H zone, there will be no H zone, isn't it? Okay. So let's come back to our question. Yeah, H zone disappears. True, it can happen. So second wala nahi. Okay, so what is the correct answer? A option. So this question was asked in AIMS, guys. So this is a very important question, right? So similarly, based on these 4-5 points, you can easily solve any questions. घुमा फिरा के पूछेंगे, but you will be able to solve, right?